and gentlemen, welcome to the Ministry of Tourism's special interview program, Tourism One-on-One, where we explore topical issues affecting the tourism sector as we tackle the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm Kingsley Roberts, your host, and with me today is Executive Director of Jamaica Vacations Limited, JAMVAC, Mrs. Joy Roberts. Welcome, Mrs. Roberts.
Thank you so much. It is my pleasure.
Today we examine the role that JAMVAC has been playing in the COVID-19 recovery effort. Mrs. Roberts, tell us, for the benefit of our viewers, what is JAMVAC's main area of focus?
Okay, so our main area of focus is to facilitate the rate of growth of numbers, tourism numbers to Jamaica through airlift and cruise. So basically we're the persons that assist the JTB when they go into the market, where they see that there's additional airlift needed, then they come to us, for support there. And then as it relates to cruise, we have most of cruise, the experience, the marketing, the engagement, and also to ensure that as we work with PAJ, of course, PAJ is in charge of port facilities and that sort of thing.
Okay, so what role does JAMVAC normally play then in facilitating the airlift as you speak of it? What does that entail?
So JTB is in the market. They have their directors, their staff in the market. They do the analytics. They recognize what is needed where, when they need extra seats in the market. And sometimes, we have the market coming to us sometimes, directly. And through the JTB, we sit down and work out, do we need these additional seats? And mostly, of course, the US is a mature market. And the airlines that we have operating out of the US are legacy carriers. So they are always coming and, they don't really need the assistance. But in the case of Europe, Canada, and other places, we have Africa, Nigeria. Recently, we have Latin America. In those cases, sometimes for us for the actual facilitation to happen, we have to support them, right? And it depends on what the market means to us and how many seats we're looking at. We look at each airline, each carrier on an individual basis.
So you have to be in contact with the airlines on a day-to-day basis?
Well, yes, pretty often, yes.
So is it that you negotiate? How does that kind of discussion work?
So, the airlines will make a proposal to us and saying, look, we see that there is a market here for Jamaica. This is what our cost is going to be. How can you help us to start this or to get this going? And we work with the JTB. JTB would say what they're doing for marketing. Then the MBJ or King NMIA, depending on where the flight is, the Civil Aviation Authority will all come together as government and say, okay, this is what is needed. Let's see how we can split it up. Let's see what we can do and go back to them.
Okay, and you mentioned Africa, for instance.
Yeah.
So you're in discussions as it relates to that market.
Yes. Well, as you know, that in December we had our first flight, the first time in how many years that people were able to pay to come to Jamaica from Africa instead of them forced to come here. So that was that was really a very exciting moment for us. And of course, with COVID, things have not worked the way they were planned because the operators were hoping to have this flight every quarter. However, we should have had a flight on Monday and they had some challenges. So they're still waiting to come again. But I think after August, we'll probably see them getting back to some, a schedule, but looking at every quarter though. And that has a lot of benefits for Jamaica. Not only is it bringing passengers here, those people come, they want to spend, they want to do their attractions, they want to do everything. And not only that, they want to take back all products. So there is a good, they've made connections with the GMA, with the Chamber of Commerce, because they don't get our products in their market on a constant basis. Nigeria alone has 216 million people. So that is a great market for our products, right?
Okay. So, what role does JAMVAC play then in relation to the cruise shipping industry?
Oh, well, cruise. Of course, cruise was added to us in about 3 years ago. And PJ does the basics as it relates to the ports and getting the ships to come here. But as it relates to the tourism aspect of getting the numbers, ensuring that the onshore activities are at their optimum, we are constantly in touch with the cruise lines. We speak to the cruise agents, cruise travel agents, because they're designated travel agents that only sell cruise, right? Okay. We're in touch with them, we engage them. We, of course, most of the cruise passengers coming in here vis-a-vis the stopover arrivals, they want to go to the attractions. They want to see and do what we do and that sort of thing. So we go out often, we update them on what is on the ground, give them the information so that they can sell to their passengers. And we ensure that once they get here, right, that the experience is at its optimum. Because once they get back on that ship and they fill out that survey, if it wasn't good, then that is what the itinerary planners use to decide, okay, Kingston is not a good port, Montego Bay is not a good port.
They get constant feedback.
Right. So we actually, and with every challenge, there's a blessing, because we had our happy or not monitors. You would have seen one downstairs, one of our monitors, and where it's a press, you press to
indicate
whether you're happy or sad. And with COVID, the company has come up with this online survey. So all you have to do is use the QR code. You scan the QR code, so we can even get more information than we were getting. And we can have that information immediately. And it is something that once in 5 seconds, you have too many negatives responses. It comes straight to my phone and says, look, there's a problem in Otres, there's a problem in Falmouth.
Okay.
So,
it's real-time alerts for you.
Real-time analytics. And it helps us tremendously, because we know that sometimes we just have to go to the port, find out what happened. Sometimes, it's a challenge on the ground, somebody was robbed, somebody was harassed, and that sort of thing. And we can deal with it before the passenger actually gets back on the cruise ship.
Okay, interesting.
But there's a lot more, facilitating the cruise is, I always say cruise is injected straight into the blood of the stakeholders, because you come, you spend, you're not going to a hotel where you have to sit down and decide whether you're going out and that sort of thing. So ensuring that all the, minister keeps on saying that there are all these parts, so we have to make sure that all the parts, the moving parts, are connected,
So you work closely with the Port Authority, right?
Yes.
How does that work?
Well, we have a good relationship. Prof and I, we usually try to schedule a meeting once a month to ensure that we're on top of everything. And, we have meetings together with the cruise line sometimes. And when we go to shows, we share, share the experience, when we have meetings with the cruise line. So we're all on board and understand what is happening.
Okay. All right. So take us back now to the start of COVID-19. How did JAMVAC respond when the pandemic initially hit?
Well, as it relates to the airlines, of course, we had to, for the months coming up to the closure, prior to the 15 months, well, for cruise it's 15 months, for airlift it's a lot less. But prior to that, we had to be day by day, the Ministry of Health would have indicated what country could come in. So we started with news coming from Italy, for instance. Those were the first ones that we had to say, we can't accept your passengers any longer, and that sort of thing. And, as we were winding down just before that closure in March, it became more and more as the virus spread in the different countries. However, again, during that period, we JTB was in the market. They kept on top of the agents in the market. And what we saw is an opportunity because we had, as a result of more aircraft being available and more capacity being available with the airlines. We had British and Virgin, who had left Montego Bay 11 years ago, returned to Montego Bay in November last year. We have this year, we'll have Edelweiss from Zurich, Switzerland. We'll have Avoris coming back from Spain. They haven't come for quite a while. We have Eurowings that had not come for a couple of years, also coming back. Condor is still there with us. We're talking to Turkish Airlines. We have, NEOS definitely. So these are additional. So we see a build out of Europe that we didn't have before. Before we only had, let's say, Condor, and of course TUI. Of course, they will continue doing their bit. And then we've had other requests from other airlines, so Latin America, for instance, where we had LATAM, if you remember, and then they were just there 2-3 months. They did very well. Right. But LATAM has had challenges since COVID. Okay. But we've had other airlines actually come to us and say, what can we do with Latin America? So there were opportunities. There are opportunities that we have. And of course, knowing us as a ministry, we jumped on them immediately. Mm-hmm. My board jumped on and we supported.
Okay. So how has JAMVAC then had to adjust its operations since the COVID-19 pandemic hit?
Well, as it relates to cruise in particular, that was a drastic change because, initially we had to assist with the repatriation of the crew, and that was quite a challenge. Right. Getting the ships to come in, a lot of crew were on the ships for a number of days, some of them months, and facilitating the cruise lines to getting them to bring their crew here. Once they got here and they did different tests and that sort of thing, we assisted ODPEM to get with the logistics to getting these people home and that sort of thing. And what we did is we used the opportunity because we've always wanted to have a database of the crew, the Jamaican crew on these cruise ships, because we believe they could help us in telling passengers about Jamaica. And what we did is we used that opportunity. We ran with it. We have a database of the crew. We do little things with them, keep them informed. And right now we have a few people. We start next week doing Team Jamaica training with them because most of them have never done the Team Jamaica training. And through TEF and the center, we are looking at even additional training that we can do with them with international certification. So we did that. And additionally, what we have done also is look at how we can ensure that there is a seamless and safe, secure, and seamless operation once we start back up. So we've gotten the monitors. We've worked with TPDCO because before we'd have the visitor information booths. Now we have monitors that will tell you what the attractions are and that sort of thing.
Okay. All right. Great. That brings us to the end of our program. Thanks for joining us today, Mrs. Roberts.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks to our viewers for tuning in. Join us next week when we conclude our discussion on the role that JAMVAC has been playing in the COVID-19 recovery effort. Take care and stay safe.